Hello everyone, welcome back to another English online session. I hope you all fine. Today we are going to look into the chapter the hack driver. Hack driver means a taxi driver, and this chapter is included in the text Footprints Without Feet. This is the eighth chapter in this textbook, and this story is written by Harry Sinclair Lewis. Let's see a few information about this story. The narrator of the story explains that after completing his graduation, he started working with a famous law firm in the city. He was working as an assistant clerk there. He was not very happy with his job of serving summons because sometimes he had to face harsh situations while serving them. One day he got the task of serving someone to Oliver Lutkins, who was a key witness in some case. He lived in a small town named New Mullion. The narrator was very excited to visit a small and beautiful town, but his excitement ended by the dull appearance of the town. So, here the narrator is always fond of a small village or town, such places. And now, because he is working in a law firm, he has to work in a city. When he was assigned to give a summon to a person named Oliver Lutkins, he was very happy to visit that small village. But when he reached there, the appearance of the village and the things happened in that village changed his opinion. Let's see what kind of an incident changed him. He is particularly narrating an incident here that changed his opinion about the people in villages or small towns. Now, let me give you a few hints about the writer. This story was written by Harry Sinclair Lewis. He was born on 7 February 1885 and died January 10, 1951. Was an American novelist, short story writer, and a playwright. Playwright means a dramatist. In 1930, he became the first writer from the United States and the first from the Americas to receive the Nobel Prize in Literature, which was awarded for his vigorous and graphic art of description and his ability to create with wit and humor new types of characters. His works are known for their critical views of American capitalism and materialism between the wars. He is also respected for his strong characterization of modern working women. So these are the details, a few details about the writer who wrote this story. We have understood he is very good at create humor in the story. You will find a little bit humor in this story also. When the story starts, the narrator gives his introduction that after completing his graduation with honors, he got selected for a job of junior assistant clerk in a very famous law firm. But instead of preparing legal papers like a lawyer, he had to deliver the court orders to various people whom he had referred to as his victims. He said so because in many of the cases he had to face very awkward situations where he was beaten up by them. They did so in order to avoid court orders, so they had to then comply with them. So the narrator says that he hated his job. He hated it to the extent that he sometimes thought of running away to his hometown where he could work as a real lawyer and not as a mere clerk. So, from the beginning, the introduction, we understand that the narrator or the central character of the story is working as a clerk in a famous law firm, but not as a lawyer. He was working, his work was to give summons to the people, the victims or witnesses of different cases. He hate this job because even some bitter experience he had come across on the way of his job, because some people even beat him, some people even humiliate him. They refuse to uh, receive the summon, but he has to do that job. Even these kind of situations pushed him to run away from this place and start his own work in his hometown. But somehow he was working here. And then time passes. One day, the narrator was very happy to know that he had to visit a place which was 40 miles away from the place where he lived. He says that the town which he had to visit was New Mullion. He had to visit this place in order to give or serve someone here court orders to a man named Oliver Lutkins. Oliver Lutkins was a witness or observer in some case, and the firm needed him for that case, but he had constantly been neglecting the letters sent by the law firm. When the narrator reached New Mullion, his excitement about visiting a village was washed off. It happened so because the village was not as per his expectations. The streets were in a bad condition as they were full of mud. The shops were also very dull. Everything he saw was full of dullness, making him sad. But then he saw a delivery man who was about 40 years old and was very cheerful. So here we understood that with a lot of hope and happiness, he just went to New Mullion. He always fancy in working in a village, or he likes villages very much. But the first appearance he got from that place didn't please him, but he found a person, and he was a very cheerful person. It seemed to the narrator that he was very friendly with other people. This made him like the delivery man, and he referred him as the only person in the village who made him feel nice. The narrator went up to this cheerful delivery man and told him that he was searching for a man named Oliver Lutkins. The delivery man quickly repeated the name of the person being searched by the clerk. He then told him that he saw Lutkins an hour ago. He also told him that it was not easy to find him as he was always up to something. Then he told him that Lutkins could be found at Fritz's shop where he played a card game known as poker. He also inquired him about the urgency of finding Lutkins. So the first impression about that gentleman was good. So our clerk, this protagonist of the story, this man just approached that gentleman and inquired about Lutkins, and he has given the details. He knew him, and it is difficult to find him, but he was ready to help this lawyer. The clerk or the narrator replied that it was very urgent to find Lutkins as he had to go back to the city by the afternoon train. To this, the delivery man said that he had a horse cart and he would help him in finding Lutkins. He knew all those places where Lutkins spent his free time. The clerk was impressed by the friendly and caring behavior of the delivery man. He says that though he knew that he was trying to earn some money from him, but he accepted his offer. He was very nice man. It was because of his nice and friendly behavior that the clerk accepted the offer, but he cracked the deal at $2 per hour. Later on, the delivery man brought his hose cart and offered him to sit. The clerk thought of the kindness and the helpful nature of the villagers who helped a stranger and took his problem as his own. So here, this man is highly impressed by the hack driver who just offered him a ride and told him that he would help the clerk, the narrator, to find Lutkins. He knew the places where Lutkins used to spend his free time, but it's like a business. The clerk has to pay. Still, he was very much impressed by the hack driver. Hack driver means a horse cart driver, one who drives horse cart. The delivery man started a conversation with the clerk and inquired if he had to take back his money from Lutkins. He also told that Lutkins never paid back his debts. He told that he had to take back 50 cents from him, which he had win in the poker game. The delivery man regretted being a fool who played with Lutkins, though he was aware of his nature of the non-payment of money. Later on, he suggested that the clerk should not come in front of Lutkins because his fancy clothes could make Lutkins doubt him and could give him a chance to run away. So he told him to stay behind him at Fritz's shop. As the hack driver was working hard for him, he told him the truth behind his search. He told him that Lutkins was a witness in a very important case, but he was not helping them, not by giving them the details. So now there is a good relationship developed between the hack driver or the delivery man and the clerk, the person who came here to give someone to Lutkins. And he told the truth about Lutkins, why this man arrived here, and everything he told to this hack driver. The information of Lutkins could help them in solving the case quickly. The driver heard all this seriously and then hit on the clerk's shoulder and said that they would surprise Lutkins by catching him and fulfilling the clerk's purpose. They start their search for Lutkins. On their way back, the hack driver introduced himself as Bill or McMusson and said that his business was called William McMusson Fancy Carting and Hacking. The clerk replied in a very friendly way that now he and Bill should begin their search mission. Bill also told him that Lutkins was fond of playing poker and also praised him his ability to cheat others. This made the clerk imagine about Bill that had he been a policeman, he would have caught Lutkins in a very respectful manner. Not only this, he would have felt had to put that man in jail. So here there is a good relationship was developing between these two men, and Bill took the clerk to Fritz's shop and inquired about Oliver Lutkins. He tried to appear natural by saying that his friend had come to meet him. He did this to Fritz tell the truth about Lutkins. At first, Fritz was confused, but then he said that Lutkins was there a few hours ago, but left for Gustav's shop where he had gone for a shave. After getting the information, Bill asked Fritz to convey a message to Lutkins that he was looking for him. So I'm going to stop the narration or the explanation here. We understood that there are two important characters in the story: the clerk who came to New Mullion to give the summon, and the other character is introduced as the hack driver or the delivery man. And later part of the story, he introduced his name as Bill, and he's having a carting and hacking firm. The clerk and Bill became very good friends because without any relationship or kind of any concern, this man, Bill, is searching for Lutkins. Actually, the clerk has to give the someone to him, and they became very good friends and try to search Lutkins in many different places. And Bill agreed to the clerk. He helped him to find Lutkins. So I'm stopping it here. The balance part of the story I will narrate in the next class. Usual, read the text thoroughly and find the meanings of new words. Write it nearby that. See you in the next class. Bye.